It was a typical summer day in South Texas. At the time, I was a little girl of 12 or so. I lived in a fairly secluded area at the end of the cul-de-sac, and of course, with southern weather, it was hot as hell. I think it was least 98 degrees outside. My mother's Rottweiler had only recently had puppies, but most of them died either due to the heat or illness, so only one was left. I brought her food and water to the shed, the only source of shade for her to eat, so she can had a better chance of having one living puppy. The last one did survive, for those who are curious. Though it was miserably hot outside, I suddenly felt dreadfully cold. Simone, the mother dog, didn't growl, but began wagging her tail, or nub, I should say, and stared forward. I had to look. I turned my head and saw a man dressed in a gray suit. He had a thick mustache and was wearing that hat that looked like it would have been from 1910 or so. I opened my mouth to say something, being the impolite and outspoken brat I was, only to realize that I could see through his legs. He tipped his hat to me with a faint smile and walked, or drifted on. Shocked, and somehow not paralyzed with fear, I darted out of the shed and followed, only to see him disappear beside the ash tree that was starting to grow next to the house I lived in. That wouldn't be the last time I saw him, but I never felt threatened by his presence. In fact, I felt safe. Every now and then, after my parents purchased another acre of land, I would see him standing in the woodsy areas of our yard, only for him to disappear when I blinked or looked somewhere else. I always felt like he was watching over me, but to this day I'm not too sure. As I grew, I eventually fell in love with someone and decided to move away with him. I may have been just a teenager, but you know what they say, love makes you do crazy things, or hormones. I don't know. It was one of the two. But I remember as I got into my dad's ugly green Toyota Corolla to head down to the airport, all of my luggage loaded into the vehicle. I stared out the window as we pulled out of the driveway. What I saw brought tears to my eyes. The man in gray was waving, as if to say goodbye to me.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.